Hello and welcome to another edition of Fridays with Father. This morning in the Chicago Tribune, I saw an article that mentioned that Pope Francis is rewriting a section of the Catechism of the Catholic Church about the death penalty. And they quoted Cardinal Cupich, who made a comment on the story. And I wanted to talk to you a little bit about that this morning. First of all, why was there a death penalty and why did the church support it? For many years, the church did say that there was the possibility of taking someone's life who was of a great threat to the society. The idea is we cannot protect ourselves from this particular person. Even putting them in prison would be a problem. And so we have to take their lives from them. And because church and state was so fused together back in the Middle Ages and a little bit after, the church kind of went along with that, unfortunately. Now, as we've come into a more enlightened time, and of course, church and state are separate in many parts of the world, we have an opportunity to look at that issue and judge it in a different way. So do we as a society have the right to take life from someone who has committed a crime? Now, in some cases, we read the crimes that a particular person has committed, and we say, my gosh, these are horrible. We have to do something about this. We have to get rid of that person. The church would now say that we need to protect society from that person. We need to get that person off the streets. However, even though that particular criminal has committed a great crime against many people, that we do not have the right to take their life. Why? Because even if they have murdered multiple people, they are still loved by God, still made in the image and likeness of God, and because of their own human dignity, we don't have the right to take that person's life. Now, to be perfectly honest, for a long time we went along and said that yes, society does have a right to protect itself from society and therefore to take the life of a criminal. But in our own time now, we have supermax prisons. We have a way to isolate people who are a great danger to themselves and also to society. And so St. John Paul II said, even as the Catechism of the Catholic Church that he authored was coming out, was saying, there's really no room in our society nowadays for the death penalty because we do have a way to protect ourselves from the most violent and dangerous criminals that we have. And so Pope Francis has just moved a little bit further and said we should rewrite the Catechism of the Church, which says that the death penalty is permitted. So what he's saying now is, because we have the ability to protect ourselves from even the most violent criminals, therefore the death penalty should be out of play because we respect the dignity of every human being, even if they have committed horrible crimes. Now that doesn't quite sit well with us, does it? We get kind of worried about that because if somebody, shoots or kills 30 people or 40 people or 50 people, immediately we're kind of looking for some vengeance, aren't we? And say, well, we have to get rid of this person. It would only be just or right. But the church would say something different. It's only just or right to protect life and not to take it. And so if 30 people are deceased because of this one person, to take that person's life and make another person deceased doesn't necessarily respect the life that we're talking about. So take that person, put them on trial, and if they're found guilty, put them into a supermax prison to protect our society, but we really ought not to take that person's life. And also, too, it's an interesting thing here in the state of Illinois, because you may remember a number of years ago, Governor George Ryan put a moratorium on the death penalty because they found that so many people were on death row and they were innocent of their crimes. There was one person, and I can't remember that person's name right now, but a man who was within 4 days of being executed by the state, and then they found that he really had not committed that crime. So you may wonder, why are we continuing to talk about the death penalty when our court system is so flawed? I remember the comedian Ron White said, the rest of the country is trying to get rid of the death penalty, and Texas is putting in an express lane, which they were doing. But we really have to be better people than that, to say that all life is precious, even, as unpopular as it may sound, even the life of someone who is a mass murderer. Because even though that person may be affected by a great deal of psychosis, mental health issues, we really can't put somebody to death because they lacked the mental health care that they needed. So we pray for those who are on death row. We pray for those also who were victims, and also pray for their families. Because it's a difficult time. It's so difficult to reconcile yourself with the fact that your loved one has been taken violently. And it's so easy to just kind of swear vengeance upon the person who did the unspeakable crime. But at the same time, we do have a mandate as Christian people to say that all life is precious and all life should be protected, even if that life maybe has taken the lives of others. But we always respect that life. And so you'll see in the next few months or so that a particular paragraph of the Catholic Catechism is going to be redone to reflect the fact that we reject the death penalty as Christian people, because it is barbaric, and also it does not respect the gift of life that has been given to everyone, even violent criminals. Thank you, and have a great day.